Hello Year 7, so this is going to be the part where you start drawing a chair. So hopefully you will have had a bit of a fiddle around with Google Sketchup and you have an idea about some of the key features of the package. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up Google Sketchup. Again, that's this icon here. If you missed the last bit, last tutorial, that's this one here. It says SketchUp and looks like a set of stairs. We're going to go to choose template. We are going to use architectural drawing millimeters and click start using SketchUp. Let's move this into the, so you've got the whole thing. If you haven't noticed, this bit here, this bit where it says recording, those are my controls, so please don't try and use the pause button to pause the video because it won't work. You need to use the normal Windows Media pause buttons. Right, so let's get rid of the woman, draw a box on her and press delete. So this time round we're going to use these coordinate points, okay, the coordinate lines even. So we've got our X and our Y axis and our Z axis, okay. Basically you go however far along this line, then you go however far back, and then finally when we use the push me pull me tool we go however far up. So it's a little bit like maths if you've done coordinates before. So this time what we're going to do is we're going to draw this chair, and hopefully you've seen a picture of it already. So we're going to draw the very bottom part of the chair using this rectangle tool. Okay, this time we're going to draw a square. So we're going to go to the origin, which is coordinate 0, 0, 0 for those of you who want to know that. Now, as you'll see, that's a rectangle. Now, if you get a diagonal line, let's try and make a diagonal line. Oh, nearly. If you can see this diagonal line coming up every now and again, that is actually a square. There we go. That's a square. It might not look like a square, but that's just due to the angle that we're looking at it from. Now, if you look down here where it says dimensions, okay, you can type in the dimensions that you want. Now we're going to use millimeters, so whoopsie, lost my mouse there. We're going to use millimeters and we are going to type in 400, 400. So that's going to be 400 millimeters across a red line and 400 millimeters back along the green line, say. Hopefully you'll see these numbers appearing. 400, 400, and then press the enter button. Now that looks very, very tiny. Okay, that's just due to the scale. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in. Okay, so you can click on it and drag it with the zoom tool. Whoops, we moved it out of the way. Or alternatively, you can zoom in using your scroll bar on your mouse. That's probably the easiest way to do it. So if mine zooms in and out, it's just because I'm using my mouse, and we're going to use the hand tool to move it towards the middle, and hopefully you'll position yours something like that. So now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to use our push me pull me tool. We're going to highlight the top part of that, or the only part of that 2D shape, and make it 3D. Now if you want to pull it up slightly, okay, then it will know which direction you want to pull it in. If you were to pull it down and then put the things, it would actually appear down the bottom. Okay, so pull it up slightly. We are going to make it 400. So actually, in fact, what we've made is a cube. Okay, so it's 400 millimeters, which is 40 centimeters. Okay, so that's that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it around so that we can see one of the edges. Okay, one of the sides. Oops, or not if you press that wrong. Press the wrong one. Basically, any mistakes you do, just press Ctrl Z and it will undo your last mistake. It's very handy and I use it quite a bit. So what we're going to do this time round is, because we're using accurate measurements, we want to use the tape measure tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to click it. It needs to be on the edge, so you need that little red icon, and pull it in the direction that you want to measure. We're going to measure across this way, and we're going to measure in 30 millimeters. Okay, so we're going to move it in that direction, enter 30 and press enter. We're going to do the same here, 30, press enter, and also on the from the top down, 30 and enter. Okay, don't worry about doing the bottom, you don't need to do that. Then we're going to go and get a rectangle tool, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this this box, we're going to cut it right the way through, a bit like you did with your circle. So now if you see that cross, you see it says intersection. Okay, that's basically where 2 points meet. We're going to click there and we're going to click where the intersection is at the bottom. So now we've got a box. what we're going to do with these construction lines is, because we'll end up with quite a few, is we're just going to use this erase tool just to delete those out. I'm going to rotate it around slightly so you can see that, and then we're going to use the push me pull me tool and we're going to delete this part of it. Now we need to make sure that we get to the on edge bit and click. Now hopefully if we rotate this round we will be able to see that we've cut a hole right the way through. There we go, right the way through. It's a bit like a table now. And because we want to make this look like a chair, we're going to do exactly the same thing on this side. So on edge 30mm, exactly the same measurements, 30 in from that side and 30 down. Draw the box, intersection to intersection at the bottom, rotate it slightly on the orbit tool, and then get rid of it using the push me pull me tool. Make sure we go to the on edge bit, the back bit. Now you'll notice here that it's not got rid of the whole thing. Okay, unfortunately Google SketchUp works funny in some ways. Some things doesn't do exactly what you think it's going to do. So if we just get the erase tool and we erase that very bottom line, it'll erase it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you that if you erase one of the other lines, what's going to happen. Okay, that's wrong. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that it is that bottom line that we erase. And finally, we're going to repeat those steps again over here. And I'm not going to talk through this bit. I'm just going to get on and do it. Right, so now what we should have is we should have a, well, it looks a bit like a bog standard table now, with 4 legs and a top. So if you were drawing a table, that would be brilliant, but we're not. So there we go. If we rotate it around, you can see that that is the bottom part of our chair. So what we're going to do now is we're going to draw on a arc at the back so that we can see. So this is the back part of our chair, so it's a little bit curved. And the best place to draw it is it's best to have it sort of a bit like that, so you can see the very top part of this as a square. Get your arc tool, okay, and we want to go to from end point to end point, and then what we're going to do is we'll pull it out, and the measurement for this is 75, and we want to press 75 and enter. And then if you rotate it around, you should be able to see that this is actually like a piece of paper has been stuck, or a piece of card has been stuck in it. It's got no thickness, okay? It's not very chunky. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it down to the same height. So we're going to turn it around, so we're going to look at it from the bottom, select the bit that we want, and pull it down. Now this time you can see a red dot on edge, click, there we go. Now you'll also see that we've got a couple of lines, and we'll have one on the top. We don't need those anymore, so we can literally just click and delete them. Okay, and then if we whiz it around using the orbit tool, there we go, we can get rid of the one, the one on the top as well. So let's have a look at our chair now. There we go. So what we now need to do is we now need to put the spindles on the back piece here. We just look at where I'm pointing to, just along here, we need to put spindles, and then we need to construct the top part. So what we're going to do is we are going to draw a line that's going to indicate where to put them. So we're going to have a bit of a marker, and we're also going to use the measuring tool. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to use this one here, which is like 2 arcs and an arrow. And what it says is it's called an offset tool, and what it does is it replicates your line, any one of your lines, but this is the one we want, okay, but further in. So we're going to click on that where it says on edge, and if you can see, it kind of draws a very, very similar curve but inside. So what we're going to do is we are going to mark this off at 30. So we're going to pull it in towards the chair, enter 30, and there we go. So now what we want to do is we want to use our measuring tool, okay. we're going to put some marks, and that's going to be where our spindles go. So first of all, we're going to go on edge and we're going to pull it in, and we want 30 in, and then we're going to do it again. This time we want it 115, and then the last time we want it at 200. That's right in the center, because you should remember it's 400 across, so half of 400 is 200. So we're going to go 30 in on this side, and then 115 again on this side. So they should all be equal, and we don't need to draw the 200 line because that's already there. So what we're going to do is zoom in a bit so that we can see this a little bit better. Let's move it. There we go. And this time we're going to use our circle tool. Okay, so we want to click down there, click our circle tool. Now the circle tool works with a radius, not a diameter. Okay, for those of you who know what diameter is, that's right the way from one side of the circle to the other side, and a radius is half of that. Now we want a diameter of 20, so our radius therefore is going to be 10. So first of all, what we want to do is we're going to start off at that intersection where that very first line is. We're going to draw a line, then we're going to pull it out a little bit and press 10 and enter. And we're going to do this exactly the same on all 5 of these points. Now, the next thing is we don't need these marks here anymore. Okay, so we can get rid of these guide marks that we had, because they were, after all, only guide marks. Helps if you click in the right place though. And then you can get rid of this, don't do that, get rid of these, this line that's going through here. Let's see if we can get rid of these bits. When I did my practice one, this didn't work completely well, and it looks as though this one's a bit weird as well. Okay, right, we'll find a different way of doing that, so that if you've got anything like that, I can show you how to amend it. Okay, now this time what we're going to do is we're going to use the push me pull me tool. We'll zoom out a little bit so we can see it. We're going to push me pull me, but that doesn't seem to be working. The circle, there we go. We're going to push me pull me on the circle, and we're going to go up 350. Okay, so I want to do the same on all of them. Right, now this one I don't think is going to work. We'll try that bit. Oh yes, it does actually. Let's go 350 up. So if yours isn't working perfectly, there you go, you can do it in 2 parts. So let's zoom out a bit, move it a little bit, there we go. What we're going to do this time around is I'm going to try and delete that line across the middle, there we go. So there, let's have a look at this. What you should be able to see is you should be able to see that these have followed that arc. They're not straight, they've just followed the arc. So let's rotate it around. You can see it's followed the path here rather than just being a straight line. So what we're next going to do is we're going to, oh, that's because mine, I've got a line there. Let's get rid of that. That's because this one didn't draw properly. Let's see, there we go. And I would imagine if I rotate it around, I've got one on the other side. See if we can zoom in and see that. Yeah, there we go. And let's delete that one out as well. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to draw the top part of this. Now, in order to do that, we're going to draw some more construction lines. So let's move the chair. You only need to be able to see the top part of it. And there we go, that's perfect. So what we're going to do this time is we're going to use the line tool, okay, which is just the pencil. We're going to click on endpoint. We're going to draw it in the right direction. Okay, so this is going to draw just a straight line, and we want it on the blue axis because that's the up axis. So I'm going to draw it 350, so it's exactly the same height of those chairs. Okay, and then that's it. We don't want any bit more. Whoopsie, there we go. We're drawing a whole load of other stuff, not what we want. So let's just press Control V until, and Control Z even, until we get there. And we want to do exactly the same on the other side. So up on the blue axis, 350, and enter. And then let's, there we go. That's the way to finish using the line. Go back to the arrow tool. Now we want to join them up. Okay, so join that line to that line. Hopefully you should see a green dot on either side, say an end point, and that just means that they are joined. So if we orbit around this now, what you should be able to see is it's just a little line. Okay, it's all guides. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw an arc. We're going to draw a box and an arc on the top, okay, so that we can form the basis of the top of our chair. So let's draw the arc first. We're going to go from end point to end point and bring it out, and we're going to do exactly the same arc as we had before, so that is 75 millimeters, and press enter. So hopefully that's followed exactly that path. Okay, now the next bit we're going to do is we're just going to draw, it doesn't really matter too much what the dimensions are on this, we're just going to draw out, draw across 400, that one is important, and then draw back in. Okay, so that just bit is out perfectly. Right, next thing we're going to do is from the edge we're going to draw out, and we're going to draw out to what was it, it was 60. So we've got a point there where it says end point, so you've just drawn a little marker. We'll do that one here as well, so 60, there we go. You see that's the green end point. What we're going to do with this is we're going to draw another arc from end point, make sure it says end point and not midpoint, to end point, pull it in, and we're going to go in 75 again, so we've got exactly that same curve. Now we can go a little bit happy with our delete thing, and we can delete that bit. Hopefully you'll be able to see that yours is kind of coming along the same way. Let's delete those lines and those construction lines, you don't need those anymore. That line can go, that bit can go, and that bit can go. So basically that's like we've put another sheet of card on on the top this time. So if we turn it around, you'll be able to see there's no thickness to it, it's not chunky like the bottom part of our chair here, it's just very, very flat. So what we want to do this time is we want to push me, pull me up. Okay, so let's find the push me, pull me tool, and I think we will go up 75. There we go, that's quite a nice height. Now what you'll see is that if we zoom in, you might even be able to see it without zooming in, whoops, wrong way. You might even be able to see that we've got these sort of holes in the top of our chair which aren't particularly attractive. So what we're going to do is if you select your pencil tool and you go from end point to end point, that just makes it a solid. So if you do that on all of yours, doesn't matter whether they're diagonal or straight, really doesn't matter as long as it's the two sides of the circle. And then we can use our eraser tool just to erase those circles and those straight lines, and then it will be one solid shape. So that's how we get around that problem. Let's get rid of these, there we go, nearly done. Okay, so let's zoom out. Okay, we've nearly got our chair, it's nearly there. Okay, let's orbit round it again so you should be able to see, there we go. Okay, right, well, it's not going to be very comfortable, this chair, unless we've got a curve on the thing, on the front. Okay, if you've got a nice curve on there, it's going to be a lot more comfortable than sitting on something that's a rectangle with a square edge, I reckon. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use our measuring tool, and we're going to measure in here so we can put a curve on the edge. So on edge, we're going to measure in halfway, which is 20. It's not halfway at all. I lied to you. I do apologise. Okay, but we're going to measure at 20. Those are the right measurements. It's just not half. It's actually 2/3. So now we're going to get our arc tool, and we're going to go from the intersection to the other intersection. And this time we're going to, it kind of sometimes goes a bit weird there, guys. Yeah, it doesn't quite know which way it's going. So try and make sure that you've got it on the surface of yours, something like that, where it says green axis. And what we're going to do is put the radius of 5. So there we go. So we've got a nice curve there. Again, we're going to just delete our lines here. And then we're going to rotate it round like that. And this time we're going to push me, pull me, and we're going to get rid of it. So let's delete right to the other bit where it says on edge, click. And now we've got a nice softer curve in order to sit on. Move this a little bit. There we go. And this is pretty much your chair. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a spindle on the bottom that joins these two bits here. Okay, so that will add support, and it will also be somewhere you could rest your feet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have one going across there and one across the back part. So I'm going to show you a different technique in order to copy and paste an item. So this time round, we are going to draw a line into the middle. So if you kind of get it so that you're looking at that side of the leg, okay, so the inside of the leg that's facing the other part that you are going to join it to. And this time we're going to put our tape measure on. I'm going to go measure 15 in, okay? No, we're not. That's for some reason that didn't want to work. Let's have a look. Let's try again. 15. Oh, come on. I don't think it likes the part. Let's get rid of this. Right. Zoom in again. On edge. 15. Enter. There we go. Bravo. Right, and now we're going to measure up from the bottom this time. So we're going to measure up from the bottom, and I think we will put it at 80. Height of 80. So that's what we want to do. And then we're going to get our circle tool. Okay, and again, we're going to put it at the middle, the intersection, and we are going to draw it, and it is going to be another 10mm circle. So what we want to do is we want to erase our marks. While we are here though, okay, and you could do this afterwards, it's not too much of a problem, but while we're here, we're just going to draw some marks on the other leg so that you can see how this is done. So where's the tape measure gone? Okay. So let's draw those same marks in. So we wanted to go 15 in, and we wanted to go, I think it was 80 up. I hope some bright sparks going. Yes, miss, it was 80. But it doesn't seem to want to have drawn it. Where are we? There we go. Let's draw it in. I think it was 80. Let's check. Yeah, that's going through that circle there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this around a little bit. Zoom out and move it. And this time we're going to pull this circle right the way across to this chair leg there. So let's get this push me pull me tool. Click on it. And then pull it right the way across until you reach this bit here where it says on edge there. There we go. My phone's ringing. I'm getting messages from my friends, so it's nice. Let's rotate it round a little bit. Now this time we're going to try and copy and paste it. Now it might be worth knowing the measurement between the spindle and the very far edge. So let's just measure that and we'll find out what it is. So from the end point to there, it's 5mm. Okay, that's what it's telling us. It's 5mm. So we just wanted to know what that is. We don't actually need to draw all these bits here. Whoopsie. Okay, we just wanted to use it as a tape measure this time rather than to mark something. So this time round, what we're going to do is we're going to click on it, and then on our keyboard, and I'm hoping this is going to work, I'm going to press Control and C and then Control and V, and you should be able to see I've got another one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it, somewhere. I'm just going to put it there. Okay, now you might turn around, you might find that if you go to your rotate tool, you're moving it and it's like, I don't know, it might be miles off in that direction or somewhere. I've been quite lucky, mine's stayed quite close. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw another tape measure line in. We're going to draw it in 5mm this time, so we know that that's where it needs to go. It needs to sit on that intersection there. So we're going to use the move tool this time, which is that one. We've already got it selected, so if we select our move tool, we should be able to move it. We'll be able to see that there's lots and lots of bits like here saying end point. So we're just going to move it so that we can get at it. So we'll move it over there. I'm going to zoom in. I want you to select the middle end point there, and then you see it's getting bigger and smaller all the time. It doesn't know which end where it should be joining onto. So if we try and align it online, there we go. So we've actually got it in the right place, but it's just too high up. So this time we're going to move it down. Okay, so if we zoom into the top, we are going to try again on this edge point, end point, move it, and there we go. Okay, so if you can do that first time around, you're doing much better than me. And then we're going to delete these lines, these mark points that we've got here. There's one down there. There we go. Right, and let's zoom out and rotate our chair, and let's have a look at it. And there we go. Let's move him into the centre of the screen, and let's have a look. That looks pretty good. So what I would like you to do now is I'd like you to colour him in. Now when I say colour him in, what I mean is using the colour tools. What I would like you to do though is I'd like you to go for materials, not material symbols. Where are they? Woods. Okay, so we like it in wood because it is a wooden chair. So I'm going to select, I think mine could be quite a nice, I'd quite like mine to be cherry, so we're going to select cherry. Now, you could have a fiddle around and see if you could see what it looks like with various different woods. I wouldn't suggest you use plywood. Okay, and the parquet flooring is possibly not good. Let's have a look. See, that's not all that great. I'm going to go with cherry. So let's put cherry on all of my sides. Okay, and then the spindles, you only have to click once. But remember, if you want to colour it in, every single side has to be touched. So I'm going to have to zoom in and click on all of the pieces. We're going to have to rotate it round as well, so we can get the other side, because at the bottom it's going to be all blank underneath the top bit there. So have a go at colouring yours in. Okay, let's have a look. I think that I've just got the back to do now, and the very, very top, and the bottom. More to do than I thought. Oops, there we go. Doesn't seem to want to colour it in for some reason. There we go. A little bit more to do. Where's the other bit? Oh. Okay. That doesn't seem to want to do that bit. I'm not sure about that. Oh, there we go. Let's see if we can do these two bits at once. There's one. There's the other. And finally, I believe there's only one bit. No, we've already got that bit on the other side. Let's have a look. And there is your chair. So that is what I'd like you to do. You might have been watching this sort of like part way through. I'm just going to show you how to save it again. Save as, file save as. You need to find your area on the computer. You need to type in what you're going to call it. Can we call it Google Sketchup chair, please? Google Sketchup chair, and let's see where we can send it. There we go, this PC. You don't need to worry about this. This is just me saving it for my use. And yeah, that's and then you save, and then you're done. Okay, have fun with this, and good luck.